All right, we're live with episode 4 of DBK Sports. We're gonna start this episode off like we do with every episode. Talk about our top 5 in the NBA. Today it's gonna be the power forwards.
Yes, sir.
All right, please start it off.
All right, the top 5 NBA power forwards coming at number 1 is Giannis Antetokounmpo. This kid is from the Milwaukee Bucks, averaging 29, 13, and 5, and only playing 30 minutes a game, which is interesting for me. Coming in number 2 is Anthony Davis, averaging 26, 9, and 3, and 2.4 blocks. Also, him and LeBron leading the Lakers into a 49-14 win-loss column. Coming in at number 3 is Zion Williamson, averaging 23, 7, and 2. This kid is a 19-year-old. Came in stormed the league. He also lost 20 pounds in this quarantine going on. Obviously, things coming from number 4 coming up is Pascal Siakam, averaging 23, and 5. This kid was a most improved player last year, coming in helping Kawhi Leonard winning the NBA championship. And coming in number 5 is Kristaps Porzingis. He's averaging 19, 9, and 2, where he come off an Achilles injury, which is pretty good. And ever since the coronavirus, like before it ended, he was averaging 30 points a game. 30 points, 10 and 9, which is pretty good on that Mavericks team.
All right, so we're going to my top 5 right here, which is a little bit different. Number 1, I have Giannis for obvious reasons. He's arguably the best player in the league, alongside LeBron, Kawhi, and all them. Averaging 30 and 14 with 5 assists. He's leading his team to where they are right now. Number 2 is Anthony Davis for, again, obvious reasons. Number 1 and 2 really aren't debatable. It's Giannis and then Anthony Davis. Number 3 is I have Pascal Siakam at number 3 instead of Zion Williamson at number 4. Mainly because I feel like Pascal Siakam has proven himself more than Zion Williamson. He's only played 19 games. And despite him, looking dominant in those 19 games, Pascal's stats are still better than his at 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists to Zion's 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. But at number 4, I do have Zion Williamson. Every game that he's played this far into his NBA career has been dominant. He's looked like a man amongst boys. Number 5 is Kristaps, just like you, because of his all-around game. He can stretch the floor. He can put the ball on the floor. He can play defense with the best of them.
Yeah,
just because of that. But back to Pascal Siakam and Zion Williamson. I actually think that it's quite blasphemous that you have Zion Williamson above Pascal Siakam.
Sir, well, I feel like Zion Williamson proved himself after so many people doubted this young man, saying he's too big, he'll get injured too much. I mean, he did get injured, but he came back and proved himself that from he took over, he really did his thing, like blocking shots, dunking the ball, shooting 3 balls. One important thing for that guy. That kid, people doubted his shot so many times where he's coming and shoot the ball. I think one game went like 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. And that Pascal Siakam, he's a great player. He's a very great player. Most improved player. His sophomore year was averaging 7 points. Now averaging to 23 points a game. That's pretty good. But I feel like Zion Williamson is going to be a better player than him. But I feel like Pascal Siakam is a better player right now. But in the future, Zion Williamson will be a better player than him.
See, and that's the viewpoint that you're taking. I think that right now, Pascal Siakam's overall game is just better than Williamson's game, regardless of the 19 games or anything like that. Because if you look at Pascal's game, he's probably one of the best bigs at putting the ball on the floor. He can run the floor with all bigs. He's a stretch big. He can do that. He can post you up in the post. He can do everything that you need your big to do. He's excellent on defense, just everything. And when you look at Zion's game right now, you could say that he can shoot, but despite his first game, he really hasn't had much success. He really hasn't had much success shooting the ball. Right now, I just think that Pascal's game is just more evolved than Zion's game is.
You also said that he backs down. Pascal Siakam backs down and defends well. Well, them games that we've seen Zion Wilson play, he also was backing down and defending very well. He, especially in the run, he defended run very well. Them games he played.
Well, if you look at every other aspect of their game, Pascal is better at. He has led his team to the 2 seed in the East after losing Kawhi Leonard, who was one of the best players in the league. He stepped up and showed that he is on his way to superstardom and has led his team to the 2 seed in the East.
And Zion Wilson also is leading his team into a playoff spot right now. You're speaking, he's also leading the Pelicans to the bubble right now.
I don't think that you can really say that for the fact that he's played 19 games. If he had played the entire year, and let's say that they were the 4 or 5 seed in the West, then I can see the argument being made. But he has only played 19 games, and what Pascal Siakam has done this entire year, we have the Raptors at the 2 seed. I think surpasses what Zion has done in his 19 games to have the Pelicans hoping to maybe get into the playoffs.
I feel like they will get into the playoffs. Zion Wilson is only 19 years old, so we will see more improvement of his game and see him take the Pelicans to the next level.
All right. So on to the next topic for today, which is going to be back to the NFL and our continuing with the NFL series that we have going on. We're going to go with the top 5 tight ends in the NFL. Following yesterday's receiver list. I'll start off with the tight ends today.
Okay.
So who I have first with the top 5 tight ends in the NFL is George Kittle. When you look at George Kittle's game, he can catch the ball with the best of the tight ends, as in the past 2 seasons, he's averaged 1,200 yards and 5 touchdowns through the air, which is very good for a tight end. But the part of his game that I think sets him apart from his competition is his run blocking. He is the best run blocking tight end in the league. And in some cases, you could say that he blocked better than some tackles or guards in the league. And that's why I have him at number 1 over Travis Kelce. I mean, you did what he did months ago. You saw what he did for the running game last year in San Francisco. Number 2, I think it's Travis Kelce, and I don't really think that it's debatable for the top 2.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelce, for obvious reasons, he's probably the best pass catcher tight end out of all tight ends in the league right now. He's averaged 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns in his past 2 seasons. Yes, he is playing with Patrick Mahomes, but for him to be putting these numbers up while having other receivers on his team, Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, everybody like that, it's pretty impressive. 3, we have Zach Ertz. He has just been a consistent tight end over these past few years. He's always Carson Wentz's security blanket. That's why he leads the team in receptions every single year. So I have Zach Ertz at number 3. And at 4, where I have Rob Gronkowski returning back from 2 years ago. And the reason I have him at number 4 and not higher or lower on the list is because of the 3 people I've named so far, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and Zach Ertz, I feel like they've had the consistency in their game for these past 2 years that Gronk just can't come back out of retirement and just surpass them. But I also have him at 4 because anybody underneath of him, I can't really say that they're better than Gronk at this point in their career, seeing what he's done in his career. And at number 5, I have Mark Andrews from the Ravens. He was their number 1 target last year for a 14-2 team. And he had like 900 yards, 10 touchdowns. He was probably the 3rd best tight end in the league last year if you look at it like that. But the reason that I don't have him above Gronk is strictly because of what Gronk has done in his career to Mark Andrews 1 season, which was a very good season, but 1 season.
We'll see. Well, my list is literally similar to yours, but my number 5 is Darren Walker. That kid came in with 1,000+ yards and 3 touchdowns. I feel like that they can really build a Raiders team around him. The next couple of years, we will see what he do. I feel like this kid is like a next best tight end besides the top 3 we named. My top 4: Robert Kowski, George Kittle, Zach Ertz, and Travis Kelce. Like you said before, George Kittle comes in, one of the best run block tight ends in the league. You got Travis Kelce as one of the best catching tight ends in the league. You got Zach Ertz with him and Carson Wentz are the Eagles' offense. I mean, I don't say the offense, but them two are a 1-2 punch on that team. And then you also got Gronk. Yeah, Gronk is one of the best. Before he retired, was one of the best tight ends in the league. I feel like that him and Tom Brady was on the same page from last Super Bowls they won, and we're gonna see what they do this year down in Tampa Bay.
Okay, so you have Darren Waller above Mark Andrews. So why did you decide to leave Mark Andrews off your list?
One thing I'll say is I didn't watch a lot of film of that guy this year, so I won't say I watched a lot of Darren Walker on film and highlights in class and stuff like that, but I didn't watch a lot of the Ravens tight end this year. If I get my time watching them, I'll probably have on my top 5 list.
Yeah, tight end isn't really a position that you're going to spend your time watching all the time.
I'm saying,
which is understandable. But speaking about Gronk and his switch from the Patriots and following Brady to the Buccaneers, who do you think is going to win this breakup between Bill Belichick and Tom Brady?
So this right here is very interesting to me because I feel like Tom Brady and Belichick was one of the best 1-2 punches, coaches and quarterback combination. But I feel like Tom Brady is going to win this 1-2 punch. I'm going to win this Belichick or Tom Brady breakup because what they have down there in Tampa Bay is really good. They have that mean offense they needed, that mean quarterback they have. They have the tight end they have. They got wide receivers. They just now building up their offensive lineman, which is going to protect Tom Brady. And they also have a good defensive side back there. But Bill Belichick have that good Patriots team they have. They got just added Cam Newton up there. So we would never know what's going to happen between the Belichick and Tom Brady breakup.
All right. So my point of view, I really don't think that there's going to be any loser or winner when it comes to this breakup. I feel like they're both going to do well where they are. But if I were to choose one, I did pick Bill Belichick over Tom Brady for the simple reason because when people go to New England, they know what's going to happen. He has built up the respect and he's built the culture to where nobody's going to challenge him, as opposed to where it is if there was a new coach in a situation. They might not listen to him or challenge him like they would for Bill Belichick. So when Bill Belichick gets players there, he can do whatever he wants with them. He can have them do their specific job the way they want them to because of his respect and culture that he's built up. And if you were to ask me this question about a few weeks ago when Jarrett Stidham was the Patriots starting quarterback, I probably would have said Tom Brady. That's how close of a call I think it is. But when you look at what they have over there in New England, they went like 12-4 last year.
Yeah,
with about the same roster, and now there's an argument to be made that Cam Newton is a more talented quarterback than Tom Brady, and he's more motivated than he's ever been in his life. So when you combine all those factors, plus the fact that Tom Brady only has like a year or two left, and Bill Belichick, I don't know how long he's going to stay. I feel like Bill Belichick is going to win this breakup.
Yeah, adding to what you said is, Cam Newton going to that team right now. Cam Newton is looking very, very good right now. He's very humble. And I feel like with him, Belichick going to bring to that team, I feel they're going to win a division and go to the playoffs. They don't really need they don't need Tom Brady because Tom Brady's down in the Buccaneers. But what they got, because he built on players like Aaron Hernandez, Gronk, then you got Jimmy, then you got Justin Brissett. They went to a different team and also did good for a different team. Like they went to the 49ers, he did good in the 49ers, and went to the Colts and did very good in the Colts. I feel like Belichick built on players and he gonna have a great year with Cam Newton this year.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm saying. The culture that he builds in New England allows players to reach their maximum potential. So, when you look at Stephon Gilmore, when he was in Buffalo, he was a very solid quarterback, nowhere near defensive player of the year quarterback. And he takes the transition to New England, and all of a sudden, he's the best quarterback in the league, winning defensive players of the years. First quarterback, he's the first quarterback to do that since Charles Woodson in 2007. And so when you look at that, and then when you look at Jamie Collins, who is their middle linebacker, about 5 years ago, he was known as one of the best linebackers in the game, right? Traded away from New England to the Browns. He is probably one of the worst trades in NFL history because when he gets to the Browns, he is basically nothing.
Yeah.
He's horrible. He gets released by the Browns. He's a free agent, maybe like 2 years. He's not really doing anything.
Yeah.
Goes back to New England, and all of a sudden he's an all-pro linebacker, going to a Pro Bowl, and the running for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, Belichick is really one of the coaches that you can depend on building yourself up and building yourself around to be the best player to come out of that team.
Yeah, and that's why I chose Belichick over Brady because when people go to New England, they know how it's going to go down, and they're not going to disrespect Belichick in any way. Which is why I have. All right, but switching over to the next topic for the day, we have something a little bit special, I guess. Something we don't usually talk about. Please, what is it?
Today, up next, we'll talk about the best NBA high school prospect. When we start, we're switching up a little different. We're coming in for number 5 is Patrick Baldwin from Wisconsin. We start with this one.
All right, Patrick Baldwin Jr. He is a 6'10", pure scorer out of Wisconsin. Why I have him at number 5 over countless other high school players is mainly because of his scoring ability. He can score on all 3 levels of the court. When you look at his shooting, it's reminiscent of Kevin Durant, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
Look at his ability to drive. I mean, it's on par of other players in this draft class like Jalen Green, who is gonna come up later. But that's why I have him at number 5 above Chet, a whole bunch of other players.
Yeah, I also have him same reasoning, but he's very good. He's a very talented kid. This kid can score the ball. Like you can see his highlights. He's tackling the basket. He can shoot. He can dribble. He gets teammates involved. I feel like in the future he'd be a big prospect.
Yeah. When you look at his game, I feel like it transfers very well to the NBA.
Yeah.
And the NBA now is kind of moving toward positionless basketball. And you got scorers taking over the league. If you look at Luka Doncic, what he is, he's pure scorer. He can score on all 3 levels very well. He can finish great at the rim, like Patrick Baldwin. And the reason that I did not have Chet on this list, because I do feel like Chet's overall game is probably better than Patrick Baldwin. But if you look at his body build, it's obvious that he needs to put on a little bit extra weight.
Yeah, he definitely has a little extra weight on him because he's very skinny and going to transition from if he goes to college, it transitions into the high school to the NBA. You need to put a lot of weight on him. He's like not that busty for NBA competition.
Yeah, so when you look at his game, he needs to put on weight to play at the NBA level more than these other players do. But on to number 2, we have number 4. We have Jonathan Kuminga. Please, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start right here. This kid right here, we didn't get his real stats, but his Nike what Nike stats was 21, 5 and 3 going into his junior year. This kid's from Jersey, right? But this kid right here reminds me so much of the Joel Embiid, where he can shoot, he can attack, he can post you up. He can do a lot of things with his game. I feel like he would be one of the great players to come out of Jersey and play in the NBA.
To me, when I look at this player's game, Jonathan Kuminga, it's much like Patrick Baldwin. It's suited for today's NBA. The reason that he's over Patrick Baldwin is because you look at his body; it's an NBA-ready body. He's big. He can get down in that paint, post you up, get rebounds, block your shot. He can also play on the perimeter, put the ball on the floor, shoot it from NBA range easily. And his overall game, I feel like, is better than Patrick Baldwin.
Yeah, I feel the same way. He's a very good defender. Like I said, he's a 2.0, a Joel Embiid, where he can push you up, defend, shoot. He run his offense very well up in New Jersey. But yeah, coming in at number 3 is Jalen Green. Jalen Green came from Pleasant Prep, averaging 31, 7 and 5. This kid right here is all I can say is it's crazy. Very athletic. He will dunk on you with no problem. He also can shoot the ball well. He also involve his teammates. Well, he's going to the G League right now was a great decision, in my opinion. He's a very good decision because it's preparing for the next level and going to the NBA. Going to the NBA, you got to build your body up, play with better players than you. So what he's doing is getting ready for the competition going into the NBA. Very great player. Danny, your opinion on this guy?
Well, like you said, he is extremely athletic. If you look at these highlights, he is jumping all over the court, 360s, windmills, whatever. But that is not the reason why I have him this high on the list. When you look at his overall scoring ability, I feel like it's probably the best out of everybody on this list other than number one. If you look at his ability to score, it's probably a little bit reminiscent of Damian Lillard in a way where he can jump out the gym, but he can also pull up and shoot it from 40. And when you look at his game, if you guys don't know that he went to the G League instead of going straight to college, so he's going to be playing this next year in the G League. And why I think that this is so important is because he's playing against other players who are also NBA ready, NBA body, and everything like that. So he's gonna be used to this physicality of the NBA more than other players that are in his draft class. Because as you see, his frame is a little bit slight, kind of like Kevin Durant or other players who have like a slight frame. So I think that him going pro, to the G League instead of taking the casual route of going to college and not getting paid, is another reason why I have him so high on the list at number 3.
And one more thing you said, like his shooting, but I feel like his shot can get a little bit quicker. His shot's a little slow, but I feel like he can get a little quicker. If you get a little quicker, he'd be a very effective shooter.
Yeah, and if you watch some of his games, I forgot exactly which game it was, but there was a game earlier in the year where in the fourth quarter, his team was down like 6 points. Mm-hmm. He took over. He hit like 4 straight threes. I don't know if you saw this game or something like that, but he hit 4 straight threes and sent the game to – no, he didn't send it to overtime. They ended up losing by like 2 points because they didn't miss any free throws. But he took over the game, which shows me that he has that mentality when he gets to the NBA that he's the man and he's going to take over the game, which is very crucial in today's NBA, especially.
Question Nita said, what advice would you give this young man? I would give this young man advice where work on his shot, his shot would be very quick. What your opinion?
Just get used to, just to get used to the physicality of the NBA because his frame is so slight. Hit the weight room a little bit, just get like a little bit more muscle on his bones.
And Anita said, I like to see him go to college first to prove the game. I don't see that's a hard decision, but like I feel like he don't need to go to college. I feel like he's ready to play with the big dogs.
I feel like he's going to the G League, which is probably better competition in college. He's going straight to the pros instead of going to college for a year, which I think is going to help him improve his game greater than college would improve his game. Yeah,
like one more thing before we go on to the next player is the players that were in the NBA went to got demoted to the G League where he have players, veteran players to play against. That is very competition for him. I feel like you have a great opportunity to play with them players and get better.
All right. So next player on the list is a very different player. At number 2, we have Cade Cunningham. This is an ad. Yeah, we have Cade Cunningham. Believe you want to talk about him first, or
Cade Cunningham. This kid right here, man. He is a Ben Simmons, but that can shoot. He can shoot the ball very well. He's very athletic. He's going to Oklahoma. I feel like he'll be very good in Oklahoma, averaging what his high school senior year was 13.64. That's not good, but he also played on a team with other talented top 5, top 15 recruits on that team. He reminded Ben Simmons like a similar Ben Simmons to me. How about you, Danny?
Now, when you look at his stats, they may not be eye-popping. 13, 6, and 4.
Yeah.
But when you look at the team that he played on, the number 1 team in the nation, and they were not even close to losing one game this year. right?
Yeah.
Like not even close. And he was the point guard of that team. He ran that offense with great efficiency, which is why he was winning MVPs in tournaments and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He is a 6'8" point guard with a jump shot, which is very reminiscent of Ben Simmons, like you said.
Yeah.
His height is going to allow him to be a great defender at his position, plus see the floor better than other players at his position. He is extremely athletic. Just everything about his game gives me great vibes.
Great vibes. Great vibes. Yeah. Well, you said 6'8". Actually, he's 6'10". Go to injury rest time. That is very amazing for a 6'10" person to shoot. Well, okay, can to shoot because if you look at Ben Simmons, I think Ben Simmons 6'10" too. He can't shoot the ball at all. But you look at Kate Cunningham, he can shoot the ball, he can pass, he can attack, he can rebound, he can do everything, defend very well. That's a great pickup for Oklahoma to get this guy.
Yeah, and when you look at him, people might get reminded of Lonzo Ball, which is why people may not have him higher, right? Because Lonzo Ball, he was also a very tall point guard who could shoot a little bit coming out of college. But the difference between Lonzo Ball and him is his ability to go to the basket for one. Him going to the basket, he is relentless, and he will dunk on you. Which Lonzo Ball, he doesn't do. Lonzo Ball is kind of, I wouldn't say scared, but he's probably kind of like a little bit scared to go to that paint. And another difference is his jump shot. When you look at Lonzo Ball's jump shot, it's not the most, useful jump shot. He can't really shoot going to his left, and that is a huge part of why Lonzo Ball isn't where he should be right now. When you look at Kate Cunningham, he's a perfect jump shot. Everything about his game is just smooth, which is why he is number 2. But number 1, I don't think there's any debate.
Coming in at number 1 is the sophomore himself, Imani Bates. This kid is coming from Lincoln. He's from Michigan. Oh my gosh. All I can say is, as a sophomore, he reminds me similar of a Kevin Durant type player. His sophomore year, he was averaging 31, 9, and 2, being the Gatorade Player of the Year. He also committed to Michigan State, but I feel like he ain't gonna go there I don't feel like he can go there. But this kid can do anything you ask him. He can defend, he can shoot, he can dribble, he can dunk. He got very good IQ. I feel like this kid is going to be next great player in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Imani Bates' game, there are really no holes in it. Because you also look at his resume. There are holes in his resume, and you got to keep in mind that he's only a sophomore. In both his freshman and sophomore years, he averaged 30-plus points, leading his team to the Michigan State Championship and winning Gatorade Player of the Year both years. And if you guys don't know, this kid won Gatorade National Player of the Year as a sophomore, above juniors and seniors who are going pro. He won it as a sophomore. I don't think that there's any doubt that this kid is going to be a superstar in the NBA, which is why I think that he will go straight to the NBA draft and skip college or even go and pro somewhere else. He was going to be straight to the NBA draft, and he's going to be the number 1 pick over players who have been in college for 4 years or players that went to college for a year and they were done. He's that good. When you look at his game, it's reminiscent of Kevin Durant, like I said, or like you said. There are really no holes in his game. He could pull up from 40. He could windmill. He could rebound over you. Anything you want him to do, he can do.
Yes, very like you say. I feel like he is better than half of these sophomores, juniors, and seniors this year. This kid is very, very talented.
And we've seen players go up in classes from like a sophomore to a junior or a junior to a senior. The funny thing is, if this kid right here were to class up from a sophomore to a senior, he would be the best senior. He would be the best senior in the country right now, but he is only a sophomore.
Okay. Dan Blue said, "Do you think they will because we consider and go to HBCU? Do you see Imani Bates going to HBCU or another player going to HBCU?"
Imani Bates going to HBCU, I will not. I can't see that happening.
Yeah.
For him, he's going straight to the NBA. and that's it.
Yeah, straight to NBA. And Dan Blue also said he need to pick up some weight on his body for the NBA. If you look at his body and you look at Kevin Durant's body, it's a similar body frame. The similar body frame. I feel like he gained a little bit pounds or muscles. He would have a great body frame, but I don't think he need to pull out weight on him because it's similar to Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I feel like when you look at his game isn't really tendered to the fact that he needs to, to go in the paint, bang with the bigs, stuff like that. He's more of a perimeter player where he's gonna, cross you up on the outside, shoot it in your face. He's not gonna bring you into the paint unless he needs to, which he can do very effectively. He's very crafty when he gets to the rim. But his game, I think, is more, face-up game.
Yeah. He can hit you with a 1-2 cross pull-up, which is very effective for him. At his height, is he 6'9", 6'10"?
Yeah. I think he's 6'9" right now.
6'9", that's good. That's very tough for a sophomore. He's very quick. If you look at it, he's very quick alone. So you guarding somebody like him, you remind yourself of the Kevin Durant. Where Kevin Durant is very quick. 1-2 quick and shoot and pull a shot off.
Yeah, but if we go back to the HBCU question, for him specifically, I don't see him going to a HBCU, but I can see more lower 5 stars and 4 stars going to HBCUs that are not really going to go straight to the NBA.
Yes.
I could see that happening. But for him specifically, I don't see him going to an HBCU because he's going to go straight to the NBA and get his money. I think one thing that's going to hurt the HBCUs is that in 2021 or 2022, the NBA is changing. They're changing the rules, so players like him, can go straight from high school to the NBA.
Yeah. They're going to change that rule. Players like Mikey Williams, Bronny James, BJ Wagner will all go straight to the league, and we're going to see what they do.
Yeah, but I do think that more 3 stars, 4 stars, and lower 5 stars will go to the HBCU.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, but the higher 5 stars and stuff are going to go pro instead of going HBCU.
Players like Manute Maker, I feel like that he didn't want to go to a top 5 like school like Duke, Kentucky, or UCLA because of competition. They're gonna look at him and say, "Oh, he wants to HBCU because the competition is a little weaker." I feel like he should went to like a school like Duke or Kentucky or overseas something like that. I don't think he should went to HBCU. But he also set a trend for other 5-star recruits or underclassmen to go to HBCU.
Yeah. So the HBCU, I think that they will be getting more players in the upcoming years, but not him specifically. But if we get back to Imani Bates for this last second, one thing else that I think sets him apart from the competition is his mindset. When you hear him in interviews or something like that, he knows that he is that good. He says that he is set on his end goal, which is to be the best player to ever live, better than Michael Jordan, which you don't see a lot of these players saying.
You don't.
I think that sets him apart.
And for him saying that he works his game every day, put muscle on him, he would be a great NBA player.
Yeah, that's something that you don't see sophomores in high school really focused on. Michael Jordan. But he is that good that he could say stuff like that.
2 years of high school winning Gary Player of the Year is very, very impressive. After getting to that team.
Yeah, which is why we had him number 1 on the list as a sophomore.
Yes.
Yep. But yeah, that's going to conclude it for episode 4. We'll see you episode 5 tomorrow when we're going to be talking about the centers and cornerbacks for the NFL. One more question from Dan Boo is, do you think that we will have college football this year? It could be short. No, I don't think there's any possible way. There's too many colleges, too much stuff going on for college to play football this year. And even if they were to do a bubble, how many college football teams are there? 100 plus? I don't think that it's even going to be possible.
Yeah, like you said, not going to be possible. And I feel like what the college, like for example, Florida, Miami, all the teams there have a lot of cases of coronavirus. So players can get coronavirus like nothing, and then one person get coronavirus and play and make it and spread it like that. So I don't think the college football season will resume.
Yeah, and a lot of the college football games have already been canceled. I didn't know that Michigan at Michigan State, which is one of the most anticipated games of the year, was canceled. So I don't think that there's any possible way that college football could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that'll do it for today's episode. See you tomorrow for episode 5.
See ya.